And the stress in your life make things feel hopeless. But that's because you're not perfect. That no means that you're worthless. Hey, keep your eyes on the prize. Everything on just time, just keep on working. Just because you're not perfect, that no means that you're worthless. Worthless, when you end up high. Never sacrifice yourself, you get ahead in life. Me know sometimes it gets so rough and you feel terrified. Just hold it out because it's better on the other side. Me know you're feeling down, me see a bag of pain in your eyes. As get a youth, we have to make it, there's no other choice. When I free also life, it satisfy me appetite. Grabbing the barrel of the explanation of your life. Sometimes I feel free die just so me can go get fit off the crime. The pain and the stress in your life make things feel hopeless. But that's because you're not perfect. That no means that you're worthless. Hey, keep your eyes on the prize. Everything on just time, just keep on working. Just because you're not perfect, that no means that you're worthless. Worthless. I work so hard for everything I want. Sometimes I sit in the dark just to reflect on my past. Might show your love, but me not trust no man. You know the amount of time when them done did me wrong. Me feel free die, but then me turn to God. Them tell me
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 26th day of March in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. 4 police officers, including a recently retired assistant commissioner, were marched before the chief magistrate today to face various fraud charges related to missing funds in the finance department of the police force and the payment of a $19 million check. The charges were laid by the Special Organized Crime Unit of the Guyana Police Force. Appearing in court today were former Assistant Commissioner Kevin Adonis, Police Sergeants Michael Corbin and Jermaine Fraser, and Corporal Roll Haynes. According to the prosecutor's case, in March of 2019, police officers Michael Corbin and Jermaine Fraser, who were stationed in the force's finance department, allegedly approved and reused a payment voucher for $19,030,767 for fuel purchase from Guy Oil. That approval resulted in the finance ministry preparing a check for the payment in the name of the officer in charge for F Division in Region 7. The officer in charge of that division at the time was Assistant Commissioner Adonis. The so-called prosecutor is alleging that the check was endorsed by Mr. Adonis and later cashed at the Bank of Guyana by Corporal Roll Haynes, who took the Assistant Commissioner's ID card with him. The police force has since indicated that Corporal Haynes was not the finance officer for the division and was not therefore authorized to cash the check. The investigation of the situation revealed that no records were made of the check or whom the money was disbursed to at F Division, according to the police. The police force has also stated that an audit was conducted by the Auditor General's office, followed by a police investigation. The 4 police officers were today charged with the offense of conspiracy to commit a felony. They were granted $150,000 bail each on the charge. Additionally, Sergeant Corbin was charged for the offense of computer-related fraud. He was placed on $100,000 bail for that offense. Corporal Haynes was also charged with the offense of larceny by a public officer. He was granted $50,000 bail. The active officers have been interdicted from duty. The 4 accused will make their next court appearance in the new month. The Home Affairs Minister recently announced that more than $300 million cannot be accounted for in the finance department of the police force. There are a number of other investigations underway. More news coming up in just a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
All the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
At Sosh Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
It's trendy to share your vacation plans, photos, and location on social media. But do you know who is seeing your posts? Sharing that you're on vacation or a business can signal to potential burglars that your home is empty. Using location services can also allow people to track your whereabouts, making you an easy target for theft. Be aware of what information you share about your location and your possessions. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Siram. I'm the Regional Chairman, Region Number 4, Deborah Mahiko. And I'm here this morning at the national launch for the campaign against filariasis. I would have been one of the persons this morning to take the first batch of pills for this last lap of the campaign to eradicate filaria from within Guyana. As we know, Guyana is still one of the countries that is endemic to filariasis within the Americas. This is a great initiative by the Ministry of Health. It would have started since I think 2019, and this is its third year going. We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana. Thank you.
Go spread the word in your area. We gonna end filaria.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana.
So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams from the Ministry of Health as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out. TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Try, Fina. How you could get yarning on today's pension day?
I collect my pension and went to the market since the 23rd.
How you mean?
I tell you, Levy switched to lodgement. Since me last book finished, I switched.
Oh, you joined up a lodge? Was this lodgement?
The NIS lodgement system allows pensioners to get their pension into their bank account. The money is paid into the account by the 23rd of the month, so you could withdraw it whenever you like.
So wait, I ain't got to join no long line. Why you ain't tell me before?
Told you, Cleo. When you go to submit your life certificate, ask them for the allotment application form. When you complete it and the bank verify it, then NIS is going to process it. After they process it, your money will be in your account.
Well, all right, I joined them now.
And don't forget, when you're carrying your life certificate, ask them for the lodgement application form.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And everywhere that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben has issued a call on prison escapees who are still on the run to surrender to law enforcement. In a statement last evening, the Home Affairs Minister assured those escapees that he will be looking at their concerns and will continue to work to improve the conditions at the prisons. Minister Ben also issued a stern warning to family and friends of the escapees who might be sheltering them that they could face charges and find themselves in the same jails. He said they should not be providing support to the escapees. He's encouraging the escapees to turn themselves in at the nearest police station. The minister's call for escapees to turn themselves in comes just days after two recent prison escapees from the Mazaruni jail were shot dead by the police during a shootout in the East Coast Demerara backlands. Two other prisoners who escaped at the same time are still on the run. While as Guyanese prepare for two back-to-back holiday weekends, health officials are pleading with them to be cautious and avoid large crowds and gatherings as the coronavirus cases in the country continues to climb. Guyana has passed the 10,000 milestone since the first case of coronavirus was detected 1 year ago. The Ministry of Health reported today that 109 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded in the past 24 hours. There are more than 950 active cases right now, with the majority of those persons allowed to be in home isolation. More than 50 positive cases are currently hospitalized, with 11 persons in the coronavirus intensive care unit. This past week saw 9 deaths being recorded in just 3 days. The situation remains worrying for the Ministry of Health.
We have had an increasing trend of more cases. So we need people to stop being complacent, because if you're complacent, then you'll get infected, and we don't want that to happen. So the task force is going to go out there and try to reiterate with business owners the need to make sure that they're in compliance, and if they're not, then they'll enforce the guidelines, and some people would be charged.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony. The government, meanwhile, continues to roll out its national vaccination program and is encouraging all those who are eligible at this time to take a shot to ensure they get vaccinated. Let's tell you now that longtime trade unionist and member of parliament for the governing People's Progressive Party, C. Paul Narine, has been elected president of the Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union, GAWU, the union which represents sugar workers. Mr. Narine previously served as the General Secretary of the union for several years. The post of president of the union became vacant last year with the passing of long-standing President Kamal Chand. He passed away while receiving medical attention in Cuba for cancer. Mr. Chand was also a member of parliament for the PPP. In a statement today, GAWU said that having considered the vacancy and in keeping with the union's constitution, the council made the appointment. The union also announced that Azlim Singh will be the new General Secretary and Parundat Narine will fill the position of Assistant General Secretary Treasurer. The union said the council felt that the new officers have been diligent in their duties and have led the union properly over the last few months. GAWU has been pressing the sugar company Gaisuco in recent weeks to honor previous agreements on salary increases and to also address the new concerns by sugar workers. The International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana has joined the United Nations in observing International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And in so doing, they are calling on the government of Guyana to address a deeper issue of racism in the country. In a statement, the organization said the need to respond to racism is greater now, providing the rhetoric which was able to foster during the last elections. The organization said the proliferation of media posts to the effect that black people cannot manage anything reeks of a sense of superiority, hence racism. Even worse were the various fates which were wished upon black people, he said. The organization said they have not seen any meaningful plans and programs from the government which signals at least an effort to address the deep-rooted issue of racism in Guyana. They added that they live in a state where the political forces and the government in particular are challenged to prove by their actions the commitment of the country to the goals of the decade, goals to which past and present governments have subscribed at the level of the United Nations. The organization added that there can be no better time for the reaffirmation of that commitment, and no better way than the praxis of good governance. The group said it calls for such commitment and action and stands ready to be a complementary civil society stakeholder. This year's observance on the 21st of March was held under the theme, Youth Standing Up Against Racism.
University students, do you know who is seeing what you share online? Prospective employers, recruiters, and graduate schools often screen potential candidates before hiring or approving applications. Sharing inappropriate images or posts and using obscene language online can cost you dearly. Avoid paying the price. 1. Set your account to private. 2. Think twice before you share a post. 3. Get permission before posting details about others. Remember, what goes online stays online. Stop oversharing and get safe online.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95 to the. Fuel it up and drive, super 95 to the. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal. For the past 2 decades, the global community prioritized eliminating lymphatic filariasis, commonly known as filaria, as a public health problem. Many countries in the Americas have achieved this goal.
We're looking to have 100% eradication of this disease in Guyana.
So we look forward to all of our citizens working with our teams, but in the Ministry of Health, as they go around in our communities, meeting with you to administer this pills.
And I will encourage you all to take your pills so that we can once and for all rid Guyana of filariasis.
We have to get rid of the negatives in relation to filaria. So please let the science be your guide and take the tablets.
My family would be taking their pills. I do hope that you would also be taking your pills so that we can together work on eliminating filaria from Guyana.
Filaria gonna get knocked out, TKO.
A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO.
Across the region right now, growing tensions between Trinidad and Tobago and India over the gifting of COVID-19 vaccines to the CARICOM region ended yesterday following the announcement that it would be donating 40,000 doses of the WHO-approved AstraZeneca vaccine to Trinidad and Tobago. The donation came after official correspondence from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Monday's meeting between CARICOM and Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown and India's High Commissioner to Trinidad Arun Kumar Sahu. Alongside India's donation was another gift from People's Republic of China, which agreed to donate 100,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine to Trinidad and Tobago. The government of Trinidad and Tobago said it has graciously accepted the generous offer of the Sinopharm vaccines from China as they anxiously await WHO approval. The BBC reports this evening that there was an air of optimism and relief among the first frontline medical staff in Cuba to receive the island's experimental vaccine Sovereignty 2. The vaccine candidate, which is still officially in Phase 3 trials, represents Cuba's best hope of lifting the lockdown on the capital Havana and beginning to claw back some of the lost economy, especially in the tourism sector. Even though the vaccine is yet to be fully certified as an official vaccine, the authorities in Cuba are so confident in its effectiveness, the process of giving it to 150,000 Cuban doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers is now fully on the way. Cuba has a strong record in vaccine development, having produced its own meningitis B vaccine in the late 1980s. The numbers of infections and deaths from COVID-19 in Cuba are much lower than elsewhere in the world, but the lockdown has caused serious economic hardship on the country. The government's intention is to vaccinate the population of Havana before the end of May. And finally tonight, international news. France has accused the United Kingdom of blackmail over its handling of coronavirus vaccine exports amid continuing tensions over supply chains. The French foreign minister was asked whether the EU had been scammed by sending millions of doses to the UK while its own rollout stuttered. France has called for the EU to implement tougher export controls. Vaccine rollouts have started sluggishly across the bloc, and the EU has blamed pharmaceutical companies, primarily AstraZeneca, for not delivering its promised doses. AstraZeneca has denied that it is failing to honor its contract. The EU is expecting to receive about 30 million AstraZeneca doses by the end of March, less than a third of what it was hoping for. The UK's vaccination drive, meanwhile, has so far been more successful than that of the EU's 27 member states. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. Have a safe weekend.